So I think it's safe to say that I'm a failure. Not really, but yes, really. For most of my life, I didn't think I would end up here. How did I end up here? I don't know. A lot of things went wrong, but when I was younger, I had big dreams. I always wanted to be a software engineer. I was the OG tech bro when I was 12. I thought I was going to make it big. I did a lot of coding competitions, and most notably, 4 years I was in the Technovision Girls Coding Competition, and that competition ended up landing me a gig at the TEDx Youth at Deer Lake 2019, where I actually got to present a TED Talk. And at the time, the STEM industry was very male dominated. I think the statistic was only 25% of STEM workers were women. And I was going to break the mold and be one of those first leading females in tech. I wanted to be a CEO, I wanted to do all the big things. And another notable thing I did, which is unrelated to tech, was that I actually co-chaired an organization under the BCNVP called Deer Lake Youth Council. And at that point, I thought I had the whole portfolio. I did some stuff in politics. I was a leader there, and I did a lot of coding, all these other things. And this is just some of the things I did, but I did a lot more in high school. I had big dreams. And my plan was always to get into MIT, go to MIT, get my undergrad, get my master's, get my PhD, and then eventually I would research and bang. But things didn't really turn out the way I wish they did. See, a problem was that I didn't realize that the market was going to eventually slow down. I didn't see the writing on the wall at that point. Now it's clear and it's right in front of me. And I think everyone sees it, honestly. And, the thing is, when I was younger, I didn't realize these things about government debt, all these issues. I didn't, realize that the job market was going to have a downturn eventually. In my head, I always thought, if I do this tech thing that everyone's hyping up, everyone around me is talking about, I'm going to do well and I will make it. But the reality is that I won't now, and I feel like it's not realistic for me to keep trying to go down this road. So, the result from all of these things I see is that I got really depressed. And this depression actually made me realize I like to help other people who are also suffering. A lot of people in my family actually suffer with mental issues, and for me, I didn't want to see that happen to other people because I know how bad it was. So I felt like I want to help other people, and that, along with my desire for stability and making a lot of money, led me to thinking maybe medical school is the right choice for me. Now the problem wasn't I decided to go to medical school. The problem was this where I decided I wanted to apply to medical school, and I wanted to apply to UBC, which is a big university, kind of in my area, but it's not really. It takes me like an hour 20 to SkyTrain the bus all the way there, and on top of that, just walking to my class on campus takes another 10 to 20 minutes. So all in all, it was more so 3 hours back and forth, maybe even 3 hours 30 minutes, and that added on with the fact that I can't really study at home because I have a lot of family issues, and I don't really get along with my parents. They yell at me and I can't study, as well as the fact that it's so far to get to my school. It makes it so difficult for me to lock in. It makes me so difficult to study, and I'm always just depressed and chronically tired. I don't know if it's because of these reasons, but I think it definitely played a part in it. And then another worry I've always had was, what if I go to school for years and years and years and I just don't make it? And I can't make it in. What if that's the case? And I also have to compete with other people in better situations than I am, with better finances, better parents, live closer, more time, all these things. How am I supposed to compete? How am I supposed to do well? And all of this adds, those are signs of just the big overlying problems. And there's a bunch of underlying things, like how I care a lot about my family. I want to help everyone around me. So then I end up putting a lot of time and energy I have, instead of just studying, into helping other people. For example, my brother was doing very bad in school, so I would put many, many hours into tutoring him, and even sometimes I wouldn't have time to do my own assignments. And I would put a lot of time into helping my cousins who are depressed feel better and talking to them about things. And there was also a lot of pressure for me to succeed because of all of these things. Like, everyone saw me as the golden child, the one who's not depressed, the one who's doing well, so I needed to do well. And I think, especially since my relationship with my family was so poor, especially with my dad, like, he and I never really had a real conversation. Like, he kind of only views me in the lens of success. Like, if I don't succeed, to him, I'm nothing. And to him, I think we never really had like much of a relationship anyways, but he thinks I'm selfish and all these things. So for me, it's not really like a, well, I can just tell him all these things I do or whatever, I can just talk to him, but we don't even have any relationship. I'm less close to him than I am to my friends, so there's nothing I can really do there. So I need to succeed in order to have a good relationship with them, period. I know I shouldn't care, but that I live with them and they pay for my school, so what can I really do? Um, I was also burnt out, depressed, lazy. I am pretty lazy in the sense that I don't know if this is like because of everything else, because of like all the things that are happening to me, or if I'm just lazy. But I tend to think I'm not, because in high school I used to do so many things, stretch myself so thin, and I would still be a go-getter. I'd still do it. And I'm also fat, fat in the sense I'm not doing exercise, I'm not doing anything for myself, and I feel like really bad, I feel very poor about my body. So I think that's what I mean when I say I'm fat. And also, I was failing my classes. Not that like any of them are that hard, which is true. I think that if you really just put your all into it, I think most people can actually do very well. But I don't know. I just couldn't do it. It was difficult to put my energy into it when I had so many things going on. Chronic tiredness, my family issues, the transit, all of these things. Like, it was very difficult. And I don't know if I'm making excuses for me, to be honest. Like, because my parents would always, like, my mom would always tell me, like, you always give excuses for this and that and that. I always thought of them as reasons, but perhaps, like, it's not really, like, the underlying reason, and I'm just making excuses for myself for being lazy. And I have no idea. But, I don't know, I just know that what I'm doing now is not working, it's not feasible, I need to make a change. And is there a straightforward solution to this kind of change? Like, there isn't really, but I think the thing about feeling like a failure is that you can't just sit down and take it forever. You need to stand up for yourself, you need to do something about it. So I'm going to try. And my first step that I was going to do is battle my depression one step at a time. Like, I was going to go to the gym, which I've started doing. I've gone to the gym for a couple of days, maybe even like a week, more than a week at this point. I got some adjustable dumbbells, and I've been trying to lift every other day, if not every day. Do some squats, some weighted, like even if I don't go to the gym, like at least do something at home. And I decided to apply somewhere closer, despite my ego. I know it's not as cool as famous and big as UBC, but for me, it's more so about like success, right? Like, it's more so about having being able to do something that, and I use this as like happiness. I want to be able to do something that makes me happy, that'll earn me money in the future, that is feasible, that makes sense. So despite my ego, I just need to suck it up and do it, and I shouldn't view something like this as bad. I should view this as, I should understand that like a lot of people have to transfer out, and I know the stigma is that they can't finish school at UBC, it's too difficult, but the reality is that not everyone is lucky, and people don't have the finances for it. They don't have, like, live too far. Maybe they might have a lot of other issues. And I totally, like, now I think I get it more than ever. And I just, suck up my ego and make that kind of choice as long as it benefits me. I also have to learn how to love myself and realize what others think doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters is if I'm happy or not, and what really matters to me. And I think this is something I never really thought about, especially since I feel like a lot of things I do end up being for other people, and I end up caring a lot about other people. I remember one day when I was at campus and I was on the bus, when I was getting off, I saw this dad who was walking his daughter, and he said something about how he quit dentistry because he realized it wasn't for him, and then he decided to switch to something else. I was so jealous. I realized I feel like I don't have that choice. And I felt like, oh, if I do this, I'm letting so many people down. But I realized that all of this is in my head. I have to suck it up and do something about it for myself. I want to make myself happy, so I have to do it. And so I've decided that I'm going to make those changes. And on top of it, I'm also going to build better study habits and build a better schedule around myself. And for a long time, I kind of let myself go and didn't do all these things. But I know I just really need to like figure it out and lock in, I guess, and let me say. I also have to find a therapist and sort out my feelings with a professional. I know the thing about me being depressed is that I feel like so many people have things worse, and I feel so cringe almost, like going to a therapist. Like the fact that I'm talking to someone else about my feelings, like professional, and I can't even find like, I don't know, I can't even deal with it myself. Not even find a friend, just deal with it myself. Like that's so cringe. But I think I need to stop thinking that way, and I need to just own up to it, realize that these problems are bigger than myself, and I've been struggling with depression for like most of my life, I would say. I feel like I was knew pretty well that I was always pretty suicidal, but I never really like seeked out any type of professional help because I feel like I'm too lazy or it's too difficult or there's so much stigma around it and my parents don't want me to do it, a lot of things. But I realize that now this is the right step for me and I need to take it. And I also need to find a job so I'm not home all the time, especially when if I apply to like SFU now, I only can really get in for their spring intake, so that's like a whole year before next spring. And staying at home is not good for my mental health. I need to find a job. I need to do something in my life. And at the end of the day, I have to remind myself that doing all of this, even if my family doesn't support it, like I just need to do it as long as it'll make me happy in the future. And if I believe this is the right thing to do for myself, I will have to do it anyways, and I should do it anyways. So I'm putting my foot down, and I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to do it. And I think part of me recording this and putting it out there is me, like, there's a possibility that anyone I know can see this video and realize I'm doing bad. And I think I've always been skirting around the fact that I'm doing bad in my classes, skirting around the fact that I'm doing bad. But if I put it out there, I think this will help me realize that it's not as big of a deal. And you know what? If other people see it, like, and I think about it now, like, who cares? What is the stigma around it? Who even, like, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm happy and, as long as, like, why lie about myself if it doesn't make me happy? If the things I'm doing now doesn't make me happy, why live this lie? I just, like, own up to it. I need to deal with it. And on top of all of that, I'm going to do more things with my hobbies. I'm extroverted. I like to talk a lot about politics and things like that. That's also part of why I wanted to try videos and streaming. Like, I want to have a platform or like talk about this to somewhere. Even if no one watches it, I want to talk about it. And I also want to try making music. All of this to say, like, I just need to do more things with my hobbies. Like, all these things I've always planned to do, I've always wanted to do, I just need to do it. Instead of sitting around saying that I will do it, I'll do it someday, whatever. No, I just have to do it. And yeah, I have all the time in the world before my applications go through. So I'm going to start trying to make myself feel better and stop just sitting around, just, staying depressed, things like that. It's not fair to the people around me that care about me. And it's not fair to myself. I need to do better. And that's kind of my video and my talk. I hope this inspires someone out there to also like get up and start doing something. And failure is very difficult. I know a lot of people in my position especially would feel the same way because I feel like I've always shouldered a lot of burden and expectations. So to me this is a big deal, like not being able to make it so far. But I think the important thing is that I'm still trying. The important thing is I want to do things that make me happy and just take steps towards it. That's my video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me talk this whole time.